Kenya, a nation rich in resources and brimming with potential. Yet for decades, a shadow loomed, a shadow of corruption, stealing the dreams of its people, hindering progress. But in the face of this darkness, a beacon of hope emerged: Transparency International, a global movement that is bound by a common vision of a corruption-free world.
After being the director of the regional office in '91, I felt somewhat defeated. I also felt somewhat abandoned by my World Bank, by my wonderful World Bank with whom I had spent 25 years, because it was a captive of its governments, of its members, of its partners, at a time when the world had not yet understood that corruption is one of the most devastating phenomena of this world.
It didn't look very feasible.
No.
Because for someone to leave the World Bank and go and start, we call it Transparency International, but it wasn't exactly as defined in that. It was purely an organization to go and fight corruption, because the name came later on, and all the development around it. But at that time it was an idea. But all the good ideas come from a discussion by two people around the table and exchanging views, and that's how we met with Joe and Peter, bouncing ideas on each other. But then when Peter left the World Bank, sure enough, he went and started the TI, Transparency International.
We do not think that the Kenyan chapter will ever take off. Yeah, that we were making progress internationally, and the idea that was started off, seen as an idea for Africa, was being received by the rest of the world much more openly. And Peter, who did remarkable work from the beginning, was literally an international statesman.
The earliest relationships were with Joe Andrew and Harris Muller. They're the ones who said, get on with it, do it. They gave me the parameters. It says, okay, we're going to let you, we want you to run this thing. It was actually, it was wild, really, if you think about it now.
Transparency International Kenya, alongside dedicated citizens, embarked on a long and arduous journey. Through relentless advocacy, they pushed for crucial reforms.
Projects we've done with Transparency International around health and corruption during the period of COVID, where we interrogated the issue of COVID billionaires, how money in the health sector was leaked, misappropriated and wasted. And I think the highlight of that moment was our ability to mobilize civil society both in the health sector and in the governance sector to be able to have a march and deliver a petition to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, calling them to hold to account the people who had been named in the reports of the Auditor General that had been accused.
The 2010 Constitution was a turning point.
We had put a lot of efforts towards developing and influencing what we called the constitutional minimums in regard to accountability and transparency. And that is what you see in Chapter 6, the provisions around leadership and integrity, and even some that are articulated under Article 10 on the national values and principles of governance, and many other articles in the Constitution. We touch on accountability, transparency, and really just articulate what do we want to see in public life, in the public sector.
As community-based organization, at some point we lack resources in terms of finance, in terms of capacity building. Transparency International Kenya has always come up to the task, bridge that gap, assist the community-based organization, most particularly my organization, to bring the people of Dagoretti together, have a conversation on service delivery, talk about issues of social accountability and civilian oversight, talk about the issues of anti-corruption. What about the issues of access to information?
The Access to Information Act of 2016 was another victory. Now, citizens have the right to demand information, a powerful weapon against the veil of secrecy that shields corruption.
If you speak about anti-corruption in this country, I don't think there's an initiative on anti-corruption that doesn't have a signature there that is TI Kenya. I think they've done a wonderful job over the last 25 years. We grew up listening to TI, we worked for TI, we still hear TI, and we still see their efforts every single day.
But the fight is far from over. New forms of corruption emerge, demanding innovative solutions. Transparency International Kenya continues to use innovative ways in their quest for a corruption-free society.
Over 25 years of Transparency International Kenya, we have been very successful in obtaining international treaties, constitutional principles such as the Chapter 6 of the 2010 Kenyan Constitution, also many anti-corruption laws, but we need a judiciary system that is independent and efficient and efficiently prosecutes corruption cases so that the corrupt are prevented from wrongdoings and from doing things that will make innumerable victims.
Doing all this work, one is called upon to have enough resources in the form of money and even human resource or people, to do the work. We are called upon by many counties today to see whether we can have these programs in their areas, but we are not able to do it because we have no resources.
First of all, let me extend our heartfelt gratitude to all of you for gracing us with your presence as we celebrate our 25th anniversary tonight.
I want to congratulate Transparency International on their great work in the last 25 years, and I wish them more strength, I wish them more passion and more resilience to tackle the ever-increasing challenges in corruption in Kenya and even in the greater East Africa region.
I'm very proud with Transparency International. They are doing their best as a CSO. And I know if they get support of the government of Kenya and each and every person, I know in our country will end corruption.
The journey continues. The dream of a corruption-free society lives on.